guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start it because we lost like 30 minutes on this. My name's Tyler. That's Brett that just left. He's the one who actually can tell good stories. I just know how to pump it onto the internet. So we are going to be talking today about storytelling. We want to do a combination of things. We want to talk to you about telling a story, but we also want to talk to you about telling a story in 2020. Because one of the great things about telling stories is people hearing them, okay, or seeing them, or them being communicated to someone. You can make a lot of great stuff, but if nobody sees it, who's hearing the story? And so we want to talk about that, and then we also want to get practical with you guys, show you how you can do this wherever you are with whatever equipment you have. Where do you guys hear stories? Go. From Instagram. Wife. From your wife.
My children.
Children. What'd you say? YouTube, my man. Netflix. Those are all great storytelling areas. Because we see stories everywhere in life. Right now, what's happening right now is part of your story. In the story of your life, this is a little page. Unless you like take something and you like build something out of it, like, oh cool, that was the start of a chapter. Or it could just be a page in your book. It is all part of our story. Why are stories important to us? Well, because we're humans, and that's literally, like I just said, it's our life. Yep. Stories are every part of our life. Anytime in your life you can think of a memory, that is part of your story. That is a story within your larger story. Brett, don't worry about it.
I'm about to give up. I'm about to give up completely.
I'm going to give up for you.
All right.
Awesome. Brett Neal, everybody.
Yay!
Thank you. Back at it again with the white bands. Okay, so Brett, you're supposed to be standing up, if you could. So, how do we keep people engaged? This is something we want to talk to you guys about, and we want to talk to you about it across different platforms. I know there's some people in here, they make videos for YouTube, some do stuff on Instagram, some do it with a photo, some people have podcasts. There's a lot of different ways you can tell a story, and we want to kind of throw some stuff at you. Brett, anything I haven't said that you want to say?
No.
Excellent. Okay, so here is a list of some things to ask yourself before you tell a story, you build a story. Brett.
I'm gonna soapbox now. It's my turn. Oh, just take a picture. Okay, so this is, I'm getting a little preachy, but this is something that, like, this is the checklist I essentially go through every time I'm thinking about when I want to make a video, because I make videos, so I tend to think of stories in that way. First thought is, what is your story? Because I always love this. Anytime I do a testimony video with people, people sit down and they're like, I'm going to tell my story. Well, they're not going to tell me their story. They're going to tell me 43 stories. And it's my job to decide what's the one story I want to tell.
Sorry, Brett.
I get that.
So I had this one anecdote about this one pastor one time. I'm not going to name names. Who came in and he was going to do a 5-minute testimony video. And 30 minutes later, he was done talking.
Whoa.
And it was excellent.
Did he practice?
But the thing that we had to then do was realize, okay, you just told me 15 stories. Like, now let's trim down. What's the actual message that we want to say? Because anybody who's ever watched a movie understands, with movies, I'm going to get a little nerdy, but I'll go into it. There's the explicit meaning and the implicit meaning of any movie. Like Star Wars, the explicit goal is to defeat the evil empire.
Stars shooting each other. Pew, pew, pew.
So
That'd
sorry. I'm so sorry. Implicit meaning is that. I mean, what's the story about? It's about a young boy finding himself and finding his place in the world. I could go deeper into it, but I'm panicking, and I feel like Rick is making me paranoid because he knows all about Star Wars. Is that too retro?
That's
in the 70s, not the 90s. Okay. An important question after you figure out what you're trying to say is, how are you going to say it? Because there are interesting ways of doing it. Oftentimes, I think Tyler Tarver's a great example of this. If you're going to tell people the truth, I love the phrase, if you're going to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they'll kill you. That's something that I tend to live with a lot. But it's one of those funny things of, you ask yourself not just, what am I saying, but how am I going to say it so that people will engage? We'll dig further into that in a minute. Yeah. And then this is a big soapbox for me because it drives me nuts when people think about this. So often I hear, especially Christians, say, oh, well, they're just twisting my words. Well, sometimes they are. Sometimes you're just saying it poorly. You need to not just think about what you're saying. You need to think about how people are going to hear what you're saying when you tell a story. And that is, I could go deeper into that, but I feel like I'm not going to, too preachy.
Come on.
Challenge, but don't alienate.
Challenge but don't alienate.
Kevin, stand up. Join us.
Yeah.
We're all standing.
That was more, and this is a big one. Anybody who's ever spoken in front of a group of people knows this one all too well, I'm sure. How do you say it in less words? Video has trained me very much to try and trim what I'm saying. So say 3 trims, not 4, when you're repeating yourself like that. And so think about what you're saying, but also how can I streamline it? Because especially in video, where nowadays people, if they see a video is 11 minutes long, they're like, I'm out. Yeah. How can I say it efficiently and quickly? I'm sure pastors who have spoken before. The first time I ever spoke in front of a group of people, I was supposed to talk for 25 minutes. I spoke for 45. I would like to go back and apologize to all those people.
Please do.
This is a smattering. I'm trying to move quickly because I just want to give you some high-level stuff so that we can kind of dig in later. But this is a big one for me, and this may be the biggest one for me. Leave breadcrumbs that lead them to their own conclusions. This is a little. You can accuse me of being a little cynical, but I'm going to say it anyway. As people, especially this generation, they don't want to be told the truth. They want to figure it out for themselves. And so when I'm making videos, who here has watched a Christian movie before?
Oh yeah.
Who here has enjoyed a Christian movie before? There was an okay one that one time. My biggest frustration with Christian movies is they take the Bible and they beat you over the head with it. And nobody wants to learn that way. People want to be led to their own conclusions, and so this is a little cynical, but I'll say it. If you're telling a story well, you are leaving breadcrumbs that lead to a conclusion that they think that they've come to all on their own. And then lastly but not least, Kevin, what was the last one?
Challenge, don't alienate.
Yeah. We are a culture that doesn't like being uncomfortable. I would argue that that's the God of America is comfort. But you also need, if you want people to grow, you need to stretch them, you need to challenge them. But if you challenge them so far, see politics, against their opinions that they're not willing to listen, you are accomplishing nothing. So you've got to think about how am I pushing the envelope, how am I stretching them, but not how are they going to hate me and turn this off 1 minute into my awesome Tyler Tarver YouTube video. I'm done.
Excellent. That was so good, Brett. Woo-woo. I love that slide. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 types of video storytelling. Obviously, there are multiple ways to do it. These are the 4 basic ones I'll think through, and other creators that I know think through whenever they're making a video. When you're thinking platforms, what's the best platform for us to make video and put it out there? YouTube. It is the Goliath of video right now. And Brett and I were talking the other day. It's like, well, what's the next thing besides video? YouTube. It's not. Like, we're done with the whole, the past 10 years of Facebook and Twitter and MySpace and all that. We've got the winners. Now we're going to have our little ones pop up, and then the winners eat them and buy them. Okay, we saw that with Instagram. Facebook owns it because they saw the popularity. They're like, yep, we'll take it. They offered it to Snapchat. They didn't do it, so they said, well, we'll just make Snapchat on Instagram. So that's what we're going to see more and more of, are these big ones taking people. YouTube right now. Anybody on YouTube TV? Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of y'all. Ask that in 3 years, maybe half the room's going to raise their hand because they do online video better than everyone else, and so all they're doing is pulling in that medium, and they're going to own it too. So here we go. First one, we call this a Neistat model. Anybody ever seen Casey Neistat? Anybody? Okay. Amazing storyteller. He started out making he made a series for HBO, did commercials, interviews, stuff like that, and then where you probably heard of him from is where he started investing into YouTube. The difference between him and the people were doing something called vlogging, where they film their day. Most of them, it's their phone. They're like, hey guys, I'm going to the store with my kid. Oh, the end, bye, subscribe. That was their video. Whereas Casey essentially made 800 videos in a row, every day, about his life, and it made it look like a movie. It was like a 10 to 15 minute movie, and you felt invested in his story. And there's some things he did while he was making those that made people so attached to it. Okay, so whenever he makes videos, he's making a short film. It's not just him, talking hey, what's up? I'm going here. It was him. He'd walk in the room. He'd set up his camera. He'd walk out of the room. He'd come in the room. So here's the deal, guys. Today we're talking about storytelling. He would come in and actually give thought to it. You watch his videos, if you think about how he sets up those shots, whenever he's filming himself climbing up a mountain, he's already climbed the mountain, set up his camera, walked down the mountain, then climbed back up the mountain to do the video. He's putting so much work into it, and that's one of the reasons people loved it, and then everyone started emulating him, okay? Whenever you are doing these videos, whenever you make videos, The people in your videos are the characters to your show, okay? So I'll use Casey because we're on his model. There was a UPS driver that was in some of his videos coming around once every 2 or 3 weeks. His name was Marlon. Marlon became a character in his show. Friends, Gunter, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Gunter? Marlon is Gunter in his show. His studio where he filmed, his set, that became a character in his show. New York City was a character in his show. Everything he brought in, recurring characters, that is a character in his show. So whenever you have videos or things like you're making a film, you're putting it out, people that you have repetitively, people are going to build connections with them as well, and they become that character. So here's how he sets his up. It's 3 parts, okay? You got the setup, you got the conflict, and you have the resolution. Why does this resonate with us as humans? Let's talk about it as Christians. The setup, God creates the world. He creates man. The conflict, man is sinful, we keep making bad decisions. The resolution, Jesus is here, he saves us. That is the story of us as humans. He does it in every single video. Every time you tell a story, every time you speak on stage, you're presenting a setup. Hey, you ever go to the store and you run into somebody you ain't seen in a while, and you're like, oh, I don't want to see them, and you run down the aisle, you're setting it up. Then we talk about the conflict. I need to connect with people. I don't delve into people. I don't invest in people. The resolution. Walk up to them, have confidence. Here's a verse. See you guys later. Okay? We need to set up everything we do in this setup if we want. So,
And I'm sorry, I'm
no, go.
If you go watch something that I love about Casey Neistat, if you ever get the chance to watch him, and this resonates across the board, if you pay attention, you're never really gonna unless you start really looking for this, you're never gonna notice it. You watch Casey Neistat video and you feel like, oh, I've just hung out with Casey Neistat. Like the whole thing is, but what I love about this is there is the intentionality in everything he does. In the same way that when you build a message, you're gonna tell a joke and it has a purpose to get the audience to relax, right? Well, he's doing this and he's building the tension and he's building the excitement, so you're with him the whole way, but you don't even realize it. And so if you go into whatever video you're making or whatever story you're trying to tell with this in mind, build it within the framework and don't be afraid to live within the framework. Every sitcom follows the exact same 22-minute system. If you pay attention, it has an A story, a B story, sometimes a C story. There's they have the joke at the beginning, they build the conflict, they try to fix the problem, then they either fix or don't fix the problem, and then there's a joke at the end. Every sitcom follows that methodology, but we all watch a million different sitcoms because there's different ways of doing it. And so when you're building your video, build it this way. When you're telling your story, build it this way. Just the ones who do it well, you don't even realize they're doing it.
Very good. Excellent. So, if you're looking at making a video, this is the normal structure for a YouTube video. You have a preview clip of what they're about to see. It's like a trailer before the movie. You roll into the intro. It's like 10 seconds or less. It shows here's my intro, or here's bam, something somebody gets used to. Your content, you hit them with the outro, and then you leave them happy. You're like, hey, here's some outtakes, or here's us doing something we cut out of the video. You want to leave them that way, because this part right here is where they usually hit like. They're like, oh, it's a good video. I need to like that, or I need to favorite that. Yeah. Here is where you grab them. If you give them something here, we're going to talk about one of those models, how you keep them to the end. Okay? Next one. We're going to talk about it right now. It's called the Jenga model. This was, anybody ever heard of Logan Paul? Logan Paul was a YouTuber, rose up one of the fastest rising YouTubers for a while. The reason he almost perfected this model, and now you see people emulating it all the time. If you see a 90s cartoon character, it means it's a link, so I'm going to click that. I'm going to show you just the first few seconds of this. So here is a clip. Watch the intro of this. Well, not listen to it though, because no volume. Cool. Okay, well he's breaking this. He's like, oh, I'm about to break this open. He's opening up a play button, cuts it right before you see the play button intro. You're starting the video. He's not going to show you till minute 8 or 9 him actually opening that. But he hits you with some action at the beginning to kind of grab you, and you're like, oh, okay. And he hits you with the story right off the bat, so you don't have time to scrub through. I just want to see him open the play button. You're following him on the story. You're building up to it. You're building tension in the story. All right, let's go back to presenting.
Does anybody else have anxiety? Is everybody good? I feel like we're going so fast.
We're going really fast.
Everybody feel
Yeah,
good?
well, we started half our time was going.
Yeah,
actually, y'all know how long those lines are, so if we go over, either walk out or just chill, because you're going to stay in line for 30 minutes anyway.
If you have
Lord will
questions,
provide.
if you have questions,
The Lord will
it'll slow us
provide.
down. Just raise your hand.
Yeah, just say something.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like in Jenga, have anybody ever played Jenga?
That's nice.
Which model are you guys? You guys you can poke around or something. You touch it, you hit it through.
That's not touching you.
That's the real way to play. That's how you make the game shorter, but then you got to set it up a lot. Okay, my kids, they're touching around. I'm
Played
like,
with
quit.
my kids.
Cheater. Okay, you little, what are they? Gen Z? I don't even know what they are. So, we like to stereotype people based on their generation they were born in. So, just like in Jenga, as the game progresses, everybody gets a little bit more nervous. You start getting like, oh, okay, here goes. It builds that tension. That's what they do in these videos. They hit you with like the preview, and then I call it the remix to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It has nothing to do with it, but I just like saying that. And then it builds up to it. It's a cliffhanger. You want the intro to be a cliffhanger, something that they want to hold on to until the end of the video. Why do they want people to watch the whole video? Well, you click on it, you watch it for a few seconds, you get a view. YouTube, it rewards people based on algorithms. The algorithm they switched to around 2016 was view time. If you go do anything YouTube, if you go into your creator studio, they do not care about your views. YouTube doesn't. They care about your watch time. How long are people sticking with your video? So when you do this preview, you're keeping them longer in the video. It rewards the algorithm. It goes in front of more eyes. Yes, sir.
Is that measurement a percentage of the overall length, or
Yes.
is it based? Okay.
It's a percentage of your video. As the longer people are watching, YouTube thinks that you're engaging people longer. YouTube's ultimate goal is to get you on their platform and keep you there as long as they can. That's why you're like, wow, these suggested videos are really good. Yeah, because they want you to keep watching. They're not going to throw something out of left field because they think you'll go, oh, I don't want to watch that. You know what? I need to go clean the house anyways. Every single social media website is tailoring those algorithms around you and what you're actually spending time on. Instagram's the creepiest best at it. If you really want to know about somebody, what they do in the darkness of night, turn on their Instagram, open it up, look at whose feed's up there in the front. Those are the people they're looking at and watching.
I can't remember where I heard this recently, but I actually heard that Twitter, on like the refresh rate, has nothing, well, it has little to do with how fast your internet is. They have actually figured out an algorithm which is the load time, the precise load time that will keep you on Twitter.
It's awesome. Smart. They're scrolling for you. Here it is again, and another one. Intro clip, intro, and then you build towards the conclusion, you cut it, outro. It's the basics of a Jenga model video.
And every movie you've ever seen.
Pretty much. Spoiler alert, the couple gets together. Okay, so, except for in the Marriage Story, from what I hear. All right, so here we go.
Marriage Stories.
And they start with like
poorly named. Let's just
Next one, third one. Anybody know who Donald Miller is? Donald Miller, he wrote Blue Like Jazz, wrote a few more books. Well, now he has a marketing agency called StoryBrand. Anybody listen to their podcasts, read their books, any of that? Very good. I highly recommend it. He's one of the top 3 marketing people I listen to, and he does a very good job at telling a story. So, we were talking about Star Wars earlier. Whenever you started telling the story, you're like, oh, young boy coming into this. He's telling the story of Luke. Luke is the person in this story. However, is he the most powerful person in the story? No. Yoda, at like 4,000 years old, is more powerful than him. But Yoda is not the hero. He is the guide. This is where a lot of people lose people, and I've made this mistake probably more than anybody. It's where they lose people in videos or when they're speaking on stage. We do not need to be the expert. We are an authority on this, but we are only authority to guide our heroes, which is our audience, into becoming the hero. If you present yourself like a hero, they think you are unattainable and they don't think they can ever be that.
Yeah.
You are just helping them get to the next step in their story or in their progress. And we have to remember that. Now, I'm about to show you a slide that's, it's messy, but it's a lot, okay? So you would start here with the character, and then you work your way all the way around, and it ends in success. This is like literally, you should tailor your website around this. Every video, every speech, everything that you do, if you tailor it around this, that person who's hearing it will feel like they are being guided into becoming a hero. Okay, I'm gonna give you a prettier one than that. Here it is. This looks better. So, it doesn't have the description, but this one is something you can literally use. It's something Neil and I went through this class on this, on how to tell these stories, and we'd love to do some trainings with some people if they ever want to.
Yes.
I mean, because it's free, why not? I think we should. But everything you do, if you're not tailoring like this, you're losing people from your ministry or your business, whatever you're doing, if you don't tailor it. I mean, it's simple wording. Like, it's really good stuff. So,
especially if you're an intellectual in this room, like, if you're an academic at heart, like, you need to know this because this is how people's brains work. Like, we like to convince ourselves that we're all about facts and statistics, but we're not. We're about emotions and feelings and stories.
And this is every movie you've ever watched follows this model. Every single one. Excellent. I'm going to give you guys this PDF at the end also if you want. Unless you leave early, then I won't. Okay. You can do whatever you want. All right, last one. This is called the Dobrik model. Anybody heard of David Dobrik? Yeah, he's super popular right now on YouTube. super popular vlogger, loves Chipotle, wears a lot of black.
Him? I'm not.
I've seen a couple of I've watched some of his videos. I like to watch people that are popular to study how they're doing stuff. He does a model of vlogging that's very different, okay? It's a combination of scripted stuff with his friends, but also a lot of improv. The dude is literally getting 4 to 5 million views per video, and he doesn't have a microphone on his camera. He just picks it up, he's like, ha! And films stuff, and his buddies slapping each other or walking around. The difference is, he is doing a modern day sitcom. This is, 2.5 Men's, Friends, Seinfeld. He's doing that in his vlog in 4 minutes every day. And he's catching people, and here's why. It's because I'm gonna switch this one. He creates an environment where you want to hang out with him and his friends. He wants to be around them. They say YouTube, Facebook's for the friends you had in high school, YouTube's for the friends you wish you had in high school. Yeah, and so that's what they do. Here's how you set up the buoy model, okay? Picture it like this. And we're gonna talk about podcasts very briefly because of time, and also we don't have very many slides on it. But this is how we do podcasts as well. We don't script out a podcast. People can tell when you're reading it. Just like if you're speaking and you're reading on your notes, people can tell. The buoy model is, I have these 7 topics I want to hit, okay? Picture them like buoys out in the water. You start swimming. Sometimes you don't look up for a while, you kind of swim off, and you look up and you start going back to it. Those are your rabbit trails in your conversation. You redirect to the buoys. So anytime you're doing this, if it's an interview or just a conversation, set up some buoys that can redirect the conversation to get you to the points you want to hit, okay? Also, in his vlogs, why I mentioned 3.5 Men, Friends, and Seinfeld, as opposed to Breaking Bad or some of these others, they have laugh tracks. David Dobrik is his own laugh track. He laughs in every clip, he's laughing for you. He's essentially telling you when to laugh, and he's doing it on his vlog. So it's very interesting to watch how he tells stories.
Also, if you want to nerd out and look at applicability, pay attention to how much pastors follow the buoy method when they're preaching.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. And when they're getting back to the buoy, when they go, this is important. And they do the thing where they pause it and walk back to read their notes. And they just take a sentence and they stretch. It's like going to Courier New when you're writing a paper. You're like, oh wow, it's 2 pages.
They literally repeat themselves.
Repeat,
Podium is the buoy, though.
The repeats, or they'll say, can we give a hand for Jesus?
YouTube.
Okay, sweet.
Next big thing.
All right, YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube specifically. Okay, and now we're going to get into some of the small logistics of it. Okay, which camera should you use? A lot of people don't ever start because they're worried about their camera.
The one you have.
The best camera is the best camera you have on you. And honestly, we all have almost $1,000 cameras on us right here. These phones are phenomenal, okay? The only real negative for them is if you do selfie mode, unless you're on the iPhone 11, it's gonna feel a little tighter than most people are comfortable with naturally. And also lighting. Lighting is really important, which we're gonna talk about in a second. Okay. You can spend a bunch of money on a camera, but honestly, once you pass about $5 or $6 grand and you start going, I'm gonna get a $20,000 camera, 99% of your audience aren't gonna be able to tell between a $6,000 and a $20,000 camera. Okay? The people that mastered in video production, they'll be able to tell. And then the rest of us, we don't know any better. It's like whenever my wife, when she's up doing worship or something, she's like, oh, I messed up on that part. I go, I didn't notice, because I was about to do. I don't know Jack Diddle on a Skittle about music, so good job. I told her that video this week. She's, oh, I'm upset. I'm like, I'll be honest, you noticed. I didn't notice.
Well, and also it's also knowing what you're trying to make. Nobody here, maybe somebody is trying to make stuff for the big screen on Sundays. If you're trying to make stuff for the big screen on Sundays, you can have conversations about what kind of camera you need. But if you're making stuff for YouTube, Casey Neistat, who is one of the most important vloggers out there, is still filming on HD cameras. And I know everybody is going, well, what about 4K or what about 8K? I know you all care. I don't care either. But it doesn't matter. And also under ideal conditions, an iPhone camera is as good as a $2,000 camera.
Right. Oh, cool. There you go. This is
This is a little note. If you really are talking about wanting to make videos and making videos constantly, I say get a mic first and then worry about the camera later. If you ever notice in the movies, the analogy I always give people is if you're ever at the movies and the movie's a little bit out of focus, people will sit there and watch the whole movie. But if the audio is off by 1 frame, people are going to lose their minds and walk out.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how many videos we probably, when it comes time to actually making videos and making them right, we spend as much, if not more, time on audio than we do on video. Because honestly, it's probably more important. If you're just talking about pure technical aspects to it. So if you really want to start making lots and lots of videos, spend a little bit of money and get a mic. I use this one because this is my go-to for like a cheap mic for people.
It's awesome.
It's on that camera right now.
Bang for your buck. It's a great option. So get that, pop that on your camera. They also have a version for your iPhone that you can pop on your iPhone that we use sometimes, and it'll do the job. Now we could talk to the audio expert about like finding the right room. Don't do it in an echoey room. Step one. But there's a million things you can learn about audio. But
that's good. Fun fact, if you put a video on Facebook or Instagram, this is keep in mind if you're promoting your ministry or you're going to do a post and it's important to you, I think the average is around 56% of people who start a video on Facebook or Instagram have no audio on. That's why whenever you go to Rich Wilkerson Jr. or Stephen Furtick or all these, they have text over the top because they're solving the problem, the communication problem that you don't have when you're at work or sitting on the toilet or wherever you don't want audio playing, okay? Or while your spouse is talking to you. So, what should you shoot with? Shoot with the best camera you have. If you have a budget, awesome. Text Brett, he's smarter than me. If you want a real cheap budget, holler at your boy. I do a lot of things with cheap crap.
So, if you really want to know, ask Drew or Jay Parker because that's who I talk to.
Yeah, excellent. Sweet. Let's talk about shooting tips. Everybody get your phone out. We're gonna do a practical example, okay? One thing, this is the first one. If you're filming on Instagram stories, this is fine. If you're making any other kind of video, turn it like the movies you watch at the theaters. Nobody goes to the theater and they go, oh, there's a vertical video. No, film it like a movie. Do you understand? Like our brains are hardwired to this. So film like a movie. Hold it at eye level. Anything lower, you look like your grandpa. Anything higher, you look like a girl in the bathroom doing a selfie, okay? Eye level, that's where you want. Next, and this is one that people screw up on more than anything. You are not the camera on your phone. Yep. Everybody, you're like, I'm watching the video from my mom, and I'm like, it looks like she's staring at somebody in the room. Is she being held hostage? No. The camera is right here, okay? Look at the camera when you film. Okay?
Do whatever it takes. If you need to cover up the
screen,
cover
do this.
It up.
This is the best way to do it. Get yourself in there, look in the mirror to make sure you're actually in the frame, and then stare at this camera. Because I'm not on this.
You know what's even worse than looking at looking at yourself is going from the camera back to the lens, back to yourself, back to the camera.
It is. To you, to me, you, me. Okay, so decent lighting. This is the one that is the most elusive. If this was an outdoor window, okay, we'll call it God's light. Okay, you want God's light if you can have it, but not direct sunlight. If this is a window, what I want to do is I want to put my camera towards the window. The light is reflecting on me. If you do it like this, you're going to look like a creep, okay? You're silhouetted. You don't want that. You want the light to stream in with the video, all hitting your beautiful face, talking about whatever.
Yeah, when you're watching videos on YouTube, like if you're learning, go watch videos on YouTube. Notice how every time they are by a window, and they're either here, or they're like turned a little bit so they can make it dynamic. But to me, it's important because a lot of people, I love telling a lot of people, the difference between professional and non-professional video has very little to do with the camera. And it has everything to do with color correction, which you don't have to learn till later, lighting, and audio. Like, that's what you need to know. And that is one trick, and you're set.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay, let's talk audio before we actually do a practical example. Okay? Think about what you're going to say before you start. Call it the curse of okay? Write out your buoys. If you're going to do a longer talk, if you're doing a short talk, just give one or two things. You know what a good thing would be? Tape it, put the Post-it right there over your face on your camera so you can actually have it right next to you, okay? And then you just sit there. That'll help you roll through. It's like a literally, I don't know what the scientific term is for it. As soon as the camera hits record, people's brains go blank, okay? It takes a lot of practice, a lot of reps to get used to, like, hey, I'm filming this for the camera, and to think the next thing you need to do in the video without going, and also, if you could, you're trying to think of the next thing to say.
Also, just to nerd out with you, don't be thinking about step 2 is how do I want to present myself? What's the energy level? Step 1 is just relax. The difference between being good and not good on camera, 90% of it is just relaxing. People can tell when you're uptight. I always use Paul Walker as an example. If you ever watch him act, he was never a great actor because he was always uptight. But it's if you can relax, that's step 1. If you can add Tyler Tarver energy, that's step 2. But step 1 is just relax.
Oh, good way to scare people off, yell at them. That's what I do. Okay, so say no to win. I'm going to show you a little trick. If you're filming on your phone, see your hand? My microphone's right here. This is where it's recording me. I cup around that, not on it, because then it muffles. This, cup around it, and you almost make this a directional microphone shooting at you, okay? It'll block the wind, and it'll gear that mic towards your voice. So it's a good way to help cut out some of that audio stuff. And, you know, I've been talking way too loud because I have mics, but this is how I talk normally. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Whenever you are actually filming for a video, you want to crank that up just a little bit. If this is your normal voice, this is a yell, you want to be just between there, okay? You don't want to yell, but you want to turn up your voice so you can sound a little bit more excited. Hey guys, welcome to Tarver Academy, blah, 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 okay? That's what you want to do. You want to add the excitement, because if you're just like spitting facts, people are going to be like, I can choose not to watch this. Click, okay? And they're going to go away from it.
And I would actually argue, even more than raising your voice a little bit, think about it in terms of picking up the tempo.
Yeah.
Like, just talk a little bit faster than you normally do. Some of you, a lot of it faster than you normally do. Let's talk like if you don't talk like a normal human speed. Because if you are talking a little bit faster, you're going to talk a little bit louder.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. All right, get your phones out. We're doing one. You ready? Get your phone out. Go to video. Flip it around. Cup your audio mic, because we're all about to start talking. And you're looking at the actual camera, not yourself. You can at first, but hey, there you are, Tyler. And now look at the camera and hit record and say something. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here at this got the whole group. Look at me. All right, that's enough, people. It's not about you. It's about me and Brett.
Which brings me to my next point. Don't do this in a loud room.
That's good.
Right? I'm the smart one that waited until everybody else spoke.
Oh, look, I'm past the
Okay, you already did. Okay.
No, go back.
I had to,
Go
I'm
back,
sorry.
Go back, go back. This is my greatest weakness. I'm so busy waiting on being perfect and waiting on it being perfect that I never start. Do it.
It's a good slogan. We should take that. Let's do it. Okay.
I came up with that.
It's so good. So good. Copyrighted. Okay. Fun fact, and I just want to throw this in there. When you are uploading videos to YouTube, there are 3 settings. Well, there's 4 scheduling, but let's talk about the 3 here. Public. Anybody can see and find it. Okay, so if it's a message for anybody, great. Do that. If you are literally just storing the footage somewhere, you're putting it on YouTube, private means nobody can see it or find it. Unlisted. This is a good one for ministries of stuff we don't want to get out everywhere. Brian did a video recently talking about some updates for financial stuff. He can get that video. It's not something he just wants everybody to find. He could do that as unlisted. That means anyone with the link, the direct link, can find it. Can't search and find it, nothing. He can take that link, toss it in. It doesn't matter which account we're all logged into on our YouTube. We can watch it. The warning for that is that can be shared. So if he sent that, I could have taken the link, tossed it on Facebook, and go, look at old Brian over here talking about this stuff, okay? So if you see your views, if you send an unlisted out to 30 people and you see you get 200 views, somebody share it, you know what I'm saying? Okay, real quick, let's go and talk about what's hot.
That's also a great...
I don't think they're hot, they're just saying that's hot.
That's a great... That's how Tyler got fired. The HR got fired. That's also... The unlisted is also a great way to have people look at your videos if you need them to. Because always have other people look at your video. Always have other people look at your video. Always.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll through these real fast. It looks like we're gonna be right behind the main line, so this is actually perfect, guys. Okay, so these are what's hot on YouTube right now. These are what people are telling stories about. Vlogs are very popular. It's people documenting parts of their day, highlights of it, and they're turning it into a short video. The reason they are popular is because the viewer is getting connected to them. They are becoming their friend even though they'll never meet them. The way that the followers of these vlogs, how committed they are to these people that are making these, it is nothing like we've ever seen. It's the same with you feel towards Instagram. There are probably people you follow on Instagram, you feel like you're a friend that hangs out at their house, watches them play with their kids, whatever. You probably never met them in your life. The reason is we never saw that with Brad Pitt. We saw him pretending to be someone else on a video, and that's it. Even in interviews, he's like spitting out just interview stuff. He's not talking to us. These people are talking to us. When we hold that phone and we're watching that video, they're looking us in the eyes, telling us about their day, how they feel, encouraging us. That's why this matters more to them. So something to keep in mind when you're talking to people in your ministry and how you can connect with them, even though you can't have 400 meetings a month. It's how you can still connect with them and then keep that relationship going. Tutorials are really popular. YouTube is one of the greatest learning devices in the history of mankind. That's just all there is to it, because literally any expert ever can put it up and help people learn. And it's just a wide
I would
level.
argue half of you who are thinking about making videos, considering you're in ministry, live somewhere between vlog and tutorial.
Yeah.
Be accessible, but teach them. And watch both and learn from both. Like, take something from both of them and don't try to just model one.
So good. So good, Brett.
Thanks.
Lists, people like these lists. Top 10 reasons that, the last Will Smith movie
As
failed.
read by a bot.
Yeah, exactly. Gaming. Gaming is a platform that is very popular and it is growing. I think within the next 10 to 15 years, the top video game players will be making more than the top sports athletes. That's just legitimately what I think is going to happen. And if I'm wrong, no matter, we'll be talking about it. Okay. Other thing is news. You can literally, we know if you go to a certain channel, one of 3 channels, you go to Fox, CNN, MSNBC, you're going to get a certain viewpoint on what's happening in the world, politics, all this. You go there because you like that narrative. It agrees with you, that's why you watch it. Okay, sometimes we'll venture off, but those are the ones we stick with to get our actual news. Okay, the others, we just want to see what they're saying and all the lies they're telling. And so with YouTube, so many of these are popping up. Literally, Brett could be like, you know what? I really like the news that raccoons are taking over the world. He can start a Raccoons Are Dangerous video series, and people that agree with that. I know, sorry. Please subscribe, guys. It's going to be really good. Remember the kids' book? What is it? Pizza Party? Where the raccoon steals the pizza? Anybody read that to their kids? Great book. Okay. It's the same one that does Dragon Ball. I wanted my kids to be little weirdos. Okay. So you can pick essentially a news avenue, a tunnel, and stay in that tunnel if you want. Unboxing, these are stupid, I hate them. Okay, podcasts. Podcasts are, has anybody heard an uptake in how many people have recommended or listened to podcasts in the past year? It's been around since 2006.
Yeah.
But start noticing, people are going to be listening and recommending them. This is going to get to even a larger market than video, because what 10 years ago was, 15 years ago was blogging. You're reading it, okay? Now, past 10 years has been the YouTube because it's accessible on our phones. Video is taking over. I think audio is going to be the next huge one, and the reason is when I'm reading or watching a video, what am I doing? Reading or watching a video. With audio, I can be driving, working in the yard, working out, I can be in the background. You can do 2 things at once. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of an uptake in podcasts, especially with the millennial generation. They're ones that are really delving into that as the medium for how they consume and grow and learn things.
And I would argue, if you're thinking in terms of like practicality, like how you do it, like if YouTube is the new TV, podcasts are the new audio, they're the new books, they're how people learn, and they're the new
Talk radio.
talk radio.
Yep.
Like if you're thinking about it in terms of those, like how can, like that's what people are engaging with on podcasts.
It's very good. If you want to start a podcast, are you telling a story or are you empowering other people to tell their story? Most podcasts, a lot of the really popular ones are interviews because it gives variety. If every week I'm just like, well, this is Tyler's opinion on this, this is Tyler's opinion on this, people can get sick of that pretty quick, okay? But if I'm inserting that with other people, I think Joe Rogan does the best at this.
Yeah.
He is able to give his opinion throughout the interview, but also bring in theirs. So him as your main character, you're constant, but then he's also putting his worldview on that. I call it the Church of Joe Rogan. My brother subscribes to it. Everything Joe Rogan says, he's like, man, I'll tell you this, you eat some frog legs once a day, you're going to be able to float a little bit. I'm like, Bodie, that's not real. Okay, so.
That'd be awesome.
He's a trip. Man, sorry, like 40 Bodie stories went through my head. Okay, so. Building a series. This is what whenever I was working with Woman Podcast about how they were going to set it up, it seems daunting to think like every week I got to make an episode. Every week I got to get a guest. What if somebody cancels, something happened? The best way, and I'll talk about it a little bit here in a minute, the best way if you're going to start something is think of it not like, well, this is a show I'm going to do once a week or a show I'm going to do every day. Think of it like a series. Whenever you watch a TV show, what's the one that just came out? The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian had 10 episodes. They came out once a week. And then there's like an 8-month gap. And then they're starting season 2. Build out seasons of your shows. So if you want to do like advice from Tommy. And it's Tommy just talking about how to best serve in your church. And he's making it. Record 10 of them. Then start publishing them. And you can schedule them out once a week for 10 weeks. Okay? 4 seasons building an audience. I promise we're near the end. You guys are great. There's still a line. I promise. Okay? Number 1, good content. Say stuff that people care about. Okay? Don't overthink it. Brent was talking about it has to be perfect. I'm going to do this. The editing process is going to be this. Just document what you're already doing. How many meetings do you have with your leaders or different people throughout the day that is amazing advice that anybody could benefit from? It's happening literally in our church all the time. and we are not documenting. You want to talk about something that bothers me, Brett? You do? Cool. I'll tell you right now. Okay? This is something that bothers me. Okay, Neil Greathouse. He's going to start a church in Ohio. We had 12 years of Neil Greathouse. Where can I go see anything he ever said to people?
For real.
If he spoke on a Sunday, I can go to our New Life YouTube. Can I see meetings with his leaders? Can I see any of his New Breed stuff? Can I see anything that he's said to anybody over the past 12 years? No, he's gone. He's done. Okay? There might be a chance in the next 40 years Pastor Rick's not speaking frequently. Okay? Where can I hear stuff from Pastor Rick besides what's on stage? We need to document what we're already doing.
So
Don't go
good.
out and think, oh, I need to make this. If you're in a meeting and
convicting.
you're about to talk to somebody about how they need to do their social media or your passions for like 6 C's of leadership, set a camera up. If you don't have a video camera, get your phone out, turn on voice memos. You might never use it, but if you don't record it, you'll never have it, okay? Record your stuff. That's just my plea to you because we're not all gonna be here forever. Let's let our message stay here and help people for future
Come on,
generations.
bro.
Okay? Spark's great for thumbnails. I actually prefer Canva. I signed up for 1 year. It's awesome. Okay? Real quick, I'll let you see a practical model. This is what I use for my content map for my personal stuff. So this is where we are right now, and then I have these videos scheduled out for YouTube. It's a little easier to schedule because I don't have to get in every day. So I've got the green. They're already published, finished, and ready to go. For my podcast, I've got series going out for the next couple weeks, and then I start filling them in again. You can schedule ahead so you're doing it in chunks. It's a series. Go in and film 10 videos, edit them all in a night or two, and then you schedule them out for the next 10 weeks. I've got a video every Tuesday going up.
Make a backlog. Make a backlog. Make a backlog.
Please, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tyler, did
Yes.
you say Canva?
Canva, yes, C-A-N-V-A. It is awesome. I love that one. Spark I used for probably like 3 or 4 years. It's free, it's really good, but Canva has just more designs and templates. You literally just type in Instagram story, and it'll give you like 100+ designs. You can just drop your
You
stuff
like it
in.
better.
I like it better. I pay, it's like $100, and I get the whole year,
I did
like
it for
no
Spark.
limits on stuff. I really like it. You think of how much you post, it's worth $100. I
How
spend
do
it
you
on
create a lot of your like graphics?
every single one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I do them through there because I'm not good at graphics. If I'm using, like every now and then I'll go Photoshop, but it's once out of every 100. So, but yeah, and they can actually, so if you're making a video, if I make a video, I'm gonna toast it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and maybe LinkedIn. What I'm gonna do, 3 of those are gonna be this one, and then the Instagram, I'm gonna do this way, and I need to do that for the story, vertical. You can just hit resize and it'll automatically generate it for all of those at once, and you can download them.
So I'm
it's
gonna,
nice.
all right, I'm gonna give you guys a gift. If you are making videos for New Life Church, I don't care which campus you are, you're still New Life Church. Email me and I will give you the login to Artlist, which is a music licensing site that you spend $200 a year and you can use whatever you want. The music's not that great, but it's good enough.
There you go. I like it. Next one, be consistent. The reason I schedule those out every Tuesday is because it's consistency. When junior high, you know when I watched Friends? 7 o'clock on Thursdays. I remember that because every Thursday at 7 o'clock, that's when I'd watch it. Same thing with your online stuff. You can create a show or you can create a channel. So GLR, they want to create their own way to empower their people and equip them. You could have Tommy Hunt every Tuesday with Tommy, and it's Tommy giving some advice on something.
like
Seth Saturdays. It helps if the letters are the same. That's Tyler's thing. Seth Saturdays. Seth gives advice on something, and for students or for leadership, and you can do that. Then you're only making 1 video a week, but you can have content every day for your ministry. And then it's also, you can cancel shows if somebody's trash. Okay, third one, collaborate. We did one for, Neil and I have a podcast, and we brought Joseph in. He did one with us on explaining Spotify, because he's on Spotify. I'm not, I do YouTube music. But it's great because you're sharing people, and we think, well, I'm gonna take their people. No, there's enough internet to go around. Share and overlap. Almost done community. I think Retro Rick over here is hands down the best person I've ever met in real life at building community around something online. It is absolutely incredible. He found a niche, a market that people are passionate about, and he literally he started pastoring people that are outside of the church, and he's like pulling the whole pastor, reach out, I love what you're doing, just compliment them, and then he starts talking to them. He's got a friendship, and then they're both bragging about each other, building each other's channels up.
Why isn't he teaching this?
He did. It was a while back. Okay, so it's good. Great job, Retro. Rick. At Retro _ 2 underscores.
I got it.
It's good stuff. Okay, so connect with people and join the community. Have a conversation with people in the comments. If you don't reply to comments for your ministry under an Instagram photo, somebody's like, haha, I remember that was great. If you don't reply, that's like me walking up to Brian and go, hey, I really liked the HR meeting that we did. And Brian just looking at me, just walking off. That's what you're doing when you don't reply to comments.
It really hurt when you did that.
Yeah, or if you just go, or you can, like, I say they're Brian, and Brian gives me 3 smiley faces and walks off. Like, that's what you're doing whenever you give smiley faces and you don't talk to people. So, the end. Okay, that's, if you have any questions,
You can run away if you want.
you can leave if you want to, but if you want questions or just stick around and turn on your airdrop, I'll give you the story brand PDF, and I'll give you a PDF of like a how to vlog. It's kind of like what we just did, but in a PDF format. So if you want it, just turn your airdrop on. I'm gonna drop it to everybody that wants it. So you have about 8 seconds for the story brand.
6, 5.
Here we go. All right.
Bam.
Okay.
There it is. Bang.
Look at it. They're coming through. Look at that.
I was talking to was talking to a guy a couple days ago.
All right. Well, no.
There's like a 4th house to build.
All right. If not, text me later and I'll text it to you.
What other way could you
Okay, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to share the PDF with you if you turn it on right now.
I like to do. I know for me, my advice for people to buy, because I'm so cheap, is like, but you can't cut everywhere. So like I was.
Just kidding, I'm not going to share it with you.
You are. Okay.
It was a
For
joke.
instance, I have a friend that did it multiple
So hard right now.
Didn't share with me
to
anyway.
kill him.
It's okay. All right, if you want to just text me or email me, I'll send them to you. If not, just go to lunch, guys. Get you some water.
Thank you guys.
It's been like 3 minutes till the next session. Yes, sir.
Any suggestions? Like I recorded solo videos.
The couch
Okay.
is there. The rug is
Comfortable with
there.
that.
So that's
I did a video with
So he
Kevin,
has,
like
he makes
2 of
50
us.
grand in 2
I had no
years.
idea what to
He
do.
really only makes 35
You look at the
grand.
screen, you look at him.
Because he has to do these extra
Both.
things, but it's still 35.
It's essentially, picture it as the third person in the room. It's the third person in the room is your camera. So it's like if you were 3 people talking and somebody's talking, if you were just like staring at Calvin while he's talking and they ignoring the other person, it'd be weird. But if you're like looking and you're just kind of looking around, and just like, yeah, you know, you kind of nod. It's almost like you're having a conversation with your face, like agreeing with them. And plus, they're subtly thinking like, oh, if he agrees with it, then I guess I agree. Especially if it's your audience, because they know you, they don't know Kevin. And then what I also do is a lot of times I'm thinking of the next question to roll out of that. So as soon as they get done, I can roll into something or transition to the next thing. So that's what I do. But what do I know? I'm just a YouTube math teacher. So thank you guys for coming. You are very sweet for sitting through us.
Very good.